What's up, YouTube? Now, I don't know if many of you have seen the alien discourse that's been taking place in the media lately, and Trump talking about releasing files about aliens, and the government releasing all these files, and Congress talking about aliens, extraterrestrials, and all of that stuff, right? UFO crafts and stuff, showing images of that, and revealing what's been hidden. The government has been trying to conceal aliens, and Trump is coming to tell us the truth. Understand that this is all just more, I guess you could call it theater. It's just more of like the elites playing in your face. Because when it comes to aliens and the truth about aliens and extraterrestrials, they're trying to make it seem as if these are some foreign, beings that have come to the earth, and we don't know who they are. We don't know, these entities. We don't know these crafts that are coming in, these unidentified flying objects. We're so perplexed, and this is some new foreign thing that has come in, and people are finally, exposing this and that. No. What many people have to understand is that these elites that run this world, right? They have always been in contact with what we can call extraterrestrials, right? The elites that run this world, and even going into the past, going all the way back in history, right from the beginning of civilization, the very first civilization up until now, have always had contact with, we could say, extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, right? Now, I know some people are going to say this video, conspiracy theory this, conspiracy theory that. And the funny thing on the conspiracy theory stuff is, all of you guys that have been calling people conspiracy theorists for the longest about a plethora of different topics, a lot of that stuff is finally coming to the light. Like the people calling people like me and others conspiracy theorists for talking about, how the elite sacrifice, to Molech, sacrifice children to Molech, right? And then the Epstein files come out and expose a lot of the stuff that us so-called conspiracy theorists were talking about. So I think a lot of you guys need to really start to, have an open mind to stuff and stop running around screaming tinfoil hat wearers, because it seems like the conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, are up. But anyway, when it comes to the alien thing, like I said, going back to, the very first civilization, going on, all of these civilizations have always had contact with what you would call extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings, right? Going all the way back to Babylon, all that, Egypt, everything. And when it comes to the Bible, and there's a lot of, people who may look at the Bible and say, certain things are here that's, incorrect in that. Ultimately, when it comes to the Bible, you got to understand it's an encoded book and it has truth in it. And there are many books that have even been taken out of the Bible that have a lot of truth concerning, the history of this planet, the true history of this planet. And these beings, these so-called aliens, if you want to call them, the extraterrestrials, they have always been here. There is no time period where they recently came to the earth, and these strange objects that the government's seeing. No, these beings have always been here, and they've always been at the helm of pretty much every single civilization on this planet from the beginning, since Babylon. They have been the beings giving the power and technology to all of these civilizations. When it comes to this modern age, the so-called aliens, extraterrestrials, fallen angels, whatever you want to call them, have been giving, knowledge and power and technology to the elites in this modern time, right? When it comes to the technology we have, a lot of the technology that you would think humans created, they didn't create, right? This is coming from these interdimensional beings, right? The very device I'm speaking on now, a cell phone, a mini computer, whatever, all computers, all of this. This is all technology that these beings have given to the ones that served them, the elites that served them. Now, many people that watch me that, are Israelites, you already know a lot when it comes to, the Bible and a lot of the truths that's within it and a lot of the text outside of the Bible. And the God that runs this world, right? Well, if you want to say that the alien that runs this world is Lucifer, right? It is Lucifer. The being that is at the helm, that is given the knowledge, the enlightenment to the ones who serve this entity, which is, the main people or the main priesthood that, is in connection with Lucifer, who made an oath with him, is, Esau, the so-called white man. And this is why the so-called European has the most power on this planet. Lucifer is their God. Lucifer is the God who they serve. Lucifer is the God who it doesn't matter what group, that all groups that are in connection and follow this religion, this Luciferian religion, this is who they serve. And they all get, benefits from serving this God. Oftentimes I've, of course, talked about gematria on this channel many times and talked about, the Jesuits and whatnot, and a lot of the knowledge, showing, when I do my gematria videos, I'll shout out Zachary K. Hubbard and whatnot and the stuff he puts down. And when it comes to the Jesuits, right, who are the military order of the Catholic Church, which, Rome, the Catholic Church of Rome is Edom, right? The Society of Jesus is really for those who know and understand the code, understand the code they speak in, the secret language they speak in. You understand the Society of Jesus, which is, the title they go by. The Jesuit Society of Jesus is really the Society of Lucifer, because Jesus is Lucifer. That's what Jesus represents. Christ, his name was not Jesus, right? That is a implanted name, right? Jesus represents Lucifer. That's what Jesus represents. And in fact, in gematria, Jesus and Lucifer overlaps in a lot of ciphers. I forgot exactly how many. I'll show it on the screen once I, edit this video showing the overlap. Jesus is Lucifer. That's who Jesus represents. Right? Understand they do everything by the number, everything, has a vibration and energy. And that is why it has the overlap it has, because that is, that's the title that Jesus really is Lucifer, right? So they say they're the Society of Jesus. Really, they are the Society of Lucifer, and that is the God they serve. So you got all these people going to church and stuff, saying they worship Jesus. What they're really saying, without knowing it, is that they worship Lucifer, right? When you got people, I love Jesus, they really saying I love Lucifer. It doesn't matter if they don't know, because it's about the energy. It's about the vibration, right? They are, involuntarily worshiping Lucifer. This is what it is. And this is why it's important to understand this knowledge, understand a lot of this stuff, because people, they really don't know a lot of things that they're doing. They really don't know the severity to it. They don't understand, right? And this is why the elites have the power they have, because they have this knowledge that is given to them by Lucifer. So when it comes to this alien stuff, they're gonna come out and keep pushing this alien stuff. It's gonna keep going down in the future. They're, as we go, they're gonna keep pushing this stuff, and we're revealing these files with aliens and this and that, and it's just these beings that are it's just foreign to us. No, the aliens are here. They are here on the planet right now with us, and they are the ones ultimately, controlling stuff. Even behind the Jesuits, right? They are the Society of Lucifer. At the helm, it is Lucifer giving them their power, right? So they want to make it seem like these are these foreign beings we don't know. No, the aliens are here. They've been here, and that is what's actually taking place. So they're going to push the narrative with the alien stuff, You got a lot of people speculating about the Project Blue Beam stuff and how, they may do some fake invasion and whatever, could come of that, right? But the alien stuff is definitely, a psyop and stuff. These aliens, like I've said, they've been here on this planet. And this is the gods that they serve, right? These aliens have been here. They've been here since the beginning of human civilization, right? So expect to see more of the alien stuff and releasing these files and UFOs and all this other stuff, man. Expect to see more of that. But understand that the aliens have been here, and they are the ones that are at the helm. They're the ones at the helm of all of these government institutions, right, across the planet. These aliens are the ones running the show, so-called aliens, right? So, yeah, man, I just really wanted to make this video to just kind of go into that because I'm seeing a lot of the alien stuff. They're going to keep pushing that. But understand that these aliens are here and they've been here, right? And the elites always love to drop their hints, right? In movies, TV shows, even in the movie They Live. What were they showing, right? The guy puts on the glasses and what happens, right? He sees how, you have your normal people, the glasses, how they just regularly look. They have the glasses on and, they're the same. But then there's other people who have weird, faces, as if they're, it's something else going on, like they're in disguise, right? And it's, these beings that are moving about and nobody knows, right? And, there's a lot of symbolism in that movie, right? A lot of stuff. If you, look into that more, you'll see all the numbers they got in that movie. A lot of stuff linking to the Jesuits, right? And it's a lot of, secret messages they got in there because they love to do that stuff, right? But yeah, the alien stuff is complete nonsense. The aliens are here, they've been here, and they're the ones controlling the show. And they're going to keep pushing this stuff, making it seem like, the stuff is being exposed. It's been hidden. No, no. This is all just more, theater. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I'm out.